Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and many things to run through this afternoon. Going to be running through exactly what's happened in the most recent patch updates, but also some concerns about Crossroads Strike, but also the smoke grenades. It's been a major question as of late, the fact that, okay, the snipers aren't viable in the game right now just because smokes are not viable as well. We would love to have snipers in the game, but the lack of flinch, the way they're just so easy to use in the current title, just makes them, well, too good to be true to be used in competitive play at the current time. If smokes are fixed though, we may get back to that point, and it looks like Treyarch are working on some fixes for Crossroads Strike hardpoint, but also the smoke grenades at the current time. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new. As always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's get on with things then. So as Dashy to Intel say yesterday, a minor new update has gone live for Black Ops Cold War, reducing the bunny hop nerf. So you guys may have seen, we talked about this a little bit, broken movement in the game. When you jump around, you now effectively get stuck in the mud on the floor and cannot move around anymore. Some people also saying that the slide feels maybe even better and even faster than it did used to. So it was kind of interesting to see. But as they say yesterday, slightly reduced penalties to speed and jump height when landing from a jump. So isn't as bad as it was, but yeah, still that they have changed it so you can't just jump around the map mindlessly like maybe you used to be able to do. So interesting to see those things changing. I also saw this as well from Scump yesterday. I thought this is pretty remarkable, where somehow he just leaves his body over here on Crossroads Strike. And yeah, maybe another thing that we need to get fixed in the game right now. I think I've seen this maybe one time before, but yeah, I don't really even know how it's going on or what even causes this, right? Or whether this can happen in competitive play as opposed to just in a public match as he's clearly playing right here. But yeah, pretty incredible stuff. Something that I've never really seen in other Call of Duties especially, and maybe something that will get fixed in the coming days. Speaking of OpTic really quickly, just wanted to talk about their scrim results because a few of you guys were pointing this out to me, that supposedly they played Dallas in a best of 11. Dallas, for whatever reason, ended early. Maybe they had to go do something else, but supposedly OpTic were beating them 5-4 in that map count. So I think they're playing a lot of best of 11s to my knowledge. They've been playing a lot of best of 11s, especially up against Dallas. Kind of Dallas probably recognized that, okay, OpTic, very solid team. And OpTic realizing that, like, playing best of 11s, that kind of competitive format, where I'm pretty sure they just play like hardpoint, search, control, and they play through those game modes. They do it off stream. They don't want to reveal any search and destroy strats or anything to that effect. But yeah, they're effectively just playing them for great practice, right? That's really probably the best practice you can get because you're playing in a proper competitive environment against the best team in the game, you could argue, in Dallas. And then yeah, getting good map count results against them is certainly good to see and prepares you mentally, I think, for, getting into an actual tournament mindset where you're not just, banging through hard points in those scrim sets that you do tend to see. But they do then play a scrim setup against the Minnesota Rokkr, 6-2 in terms of map counter. I think they scrim these guys quite a lot. Minnesota are a good hardpoint team as well, so definitely a good team to scrim against at the current time. And I do wonder when Express will arrive in the search and destroy map set, whether they've been playing it up against Dallas, whether they expect to be in the map set on Express for the start of the season. I think that'd be a pretty exciting thing to see, and maybe some other maps coming down the horizon from way back in the day. So on the 15th of January, we talked about this as Clay says, stupidest map in God history. Cannot believe we are playing this in a clip, Giasso clip at the time. We'll have a look at another one that Clayson tweeted out yesterday in just a second on these spawns over at P4 on Crossroads Strike. Center says, map should be taken out of the game. We just play Moscow Raid Garrison. Checkmate. As Center says, I'm nasty on Crossroads too. It'd benefit me to keep the map in, but it has to go for the integrity of the competition. I remember looking at this tweet at the time. I'm not sure I actually mentioned it in that video, so I thought I'd bring it back today. Now it is relevant. Real competitive map we got here, says Clayson. So this is his clip. I mean, once again, over at this P4, this is the hill where all the dodgy spawns start happening right here. You've got the, of course, Diamond Con in blue. Those are the guys of the New York subliners. And then, oh my god, that spawn right here. The Classic just got behind Claystar over at this crane. Isn't perfectly ideal. And oh my god, so Clay spawns behind him again. And well, maybe gets spawn killed again. Who really knows? The spawns are absolute chaos on this map. This, for some reason, every time this hill is a thing over at P4, something dodgy is going on every single time. And well, even now we've got players spawning behind other players. It's just absolute chaos on the map. Every single time you watch anything be played, more spawning behind other players. It's just impossible to deal with. Split spawns all across the map. And yeah, this map, I think a lot of people would look at and say, look, this isn't perfect. But a lot of the complaints seem to be regarding this whole P4 area right here. And as Matt Scront says in reply, very interestingly, soon, as he says, he draws the big red arrow and saying that, look, this P4 hill is going to be moving down over here to ice. So currently the rotation rotation goes as follows. P1 is over by this tank looking thing, then you've got P2 down here when player number 1 is in the downstairs bit, then you've got hill number 3 is over here in this building where the B bomb site is, and then you've got P4 back here. Now the P just stands for point, if you guys aren't aware. People say P1, P2 and stuff to just refer to like sections on the map, so often like P2, people will use that call out in search just to kind of explain in the second hard point. That's kind of the abbreviation for that if you guys weren't fully aware. So anyway, initially this P4 hill was over here by like where player number 5 is spawning, but now they're going to move it all the way down to ice. This is an interesting change. It's certainly something which has had some back and forth between some of the pros, because this is where the A bomb is, and it's kind of chaos, right? So there's some boxes over here by P4. This maybe makes slightly more sense in terms of where the players are spawning, because I imagine there's going to be some spawns still up at the top cliff right here, but at least there are some cover to hide behind. I'm sure the trophies are going to be very useful there, because there's going to be nades flying in left, right and center. So interesting change. People aren't necessarily fully convinced about it. I saw Clayster say my man in reply, so he seems pretty on board, but as Silly says, this looks like a very, very painful hill if that is what the new arrow means. So there's some questions about, okay, like where could we even realistically put the other hard points? I think it does make sense if it's going to be somewhere and you are going to make a change. It probably should be down here by the ice area somewhere or another. But yeah, maybe Crossroads Strike is just too small to be effective at hard points. That's something you could also argue, but I don't think Express is going to work either. So we really do still want 5 maps in the map set. But as Matt Scott says, it is going to be scrappier for sure. Current P4 hill spawns aren't easily solved or solvable with the size of the map. I'd rather a scrappier hill with more predictive spawns, which I think is fair enough, because right now we've seen all sorts of dodgy spawns over here at this P4. You've got someone sitting on this rock, for example, people just spawning right behind him. I mean, no one really knows what's going on with that hill. You've constantly got to be watching your back if people are just going to be spawning in behind you, because the map isn't maybe ideal for hardpoint in terms of the size that it brings to the table. So Matt Squance is probably correct that, okay, maybe we have a scrappier hill, but at least the spawns may be slightly more predictable in terms of where people are coming from. The other part of this as well, I mean, Jacob's saying, look, I'm sure that hill won't be chaotic at all. So yeah, some people certainly not convinced that it is a step in the right direction. But interestingly right here, are smokes intended to be like they are right now, or are they going to be fixed? That meaning the one-way smokes. So as Matt says, if you're referring to the visibility delta between players inside and outside of a smoke grenade, we have some improvements coming. So the visibility delta is going to be improved, ladies and gentlemen. Hurrah, it is finally happening. Not sure exactly why he decided to use these set of words in particular, but I think we kind of get what he means. We saw a few days ago the fact that they, well, tried to fix the aim assist issues inside and outside of the smokes, and we saw TP say way back on the 24th of January at the CDL Kickoff Classic, look, S&D without snipers and smoke grenades is just very boring to watch, and I do certainly understand that, right? Playing Search and Destroy without smokes is, I think, better, at least in the current state, than it could be. Smoke grenades are very buggy at the current time. Supposedly the aim assist issues have now been fixed, where if you were inside of a smoke, you would still get aim assist, but someone outside of the smoke wouldn't get it, and there were so many problems about the way you chuck a smoke down, you wouldn't even be in the smoke, but the enemy trying to shoot you is still not getting aim assist because you're slightly in front of it. All sorts of problems like that, which I can totally understand why we decided, okay, smoke grenades in this game are just too buggy. But the main issue really is the one-ways, right? You guys may have experienced this if you play the game a fair bit. You'll be shooting at someone who'll just drop a smoke at his feet, and he'll just be standing in the smoke. You'll have no idea where he's gone, but he can see you perfectly well through the smoke as well. And we've seen a number of clips of people abusing this to great effect in Search and Destroy. It's probably about time they got removed from the map set, as Game Battles got rid of them not too long ago. I think it does make the game better. But at the same time, in the hands of a pro, if there's no smoke grenades about, snipers are just going to be dominant, right? There's no way to counter a sniper if there's no smoke grenades. You're just going to get bullied off the map again and again and again. And even we talked about this thing, okay, maybe we have no attachments on the snipers. Maybe that makes them more viable. But even then, there's been some arguments that, like, the pros are just way too good with them, that with no smoke grenades, snipers cannot be in the game. And therefore, if this issue is to be resolved, the one-way problem is the final piece of the puzzle to fix before hopefully the pros say, okay, yeah, we can have smokes back in the game. Maybe only like 1 or 2 of them are allowed, and therefore we can also have a sniper on the map at one time as well, which I think will make the game much more entertaining to watch and hopefully to play as well. As Crone says a few days ago, they have addressed the issue where players inside of a smoke would gain aim assist and those outside would not, but still, the problem still remains regarding this whole, well, the one-way situation, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Few interesting things to finish off the video. It is still interesting to me exactly what is going to happen in this Express Search and Destroy thing, because we're now here on this February the 7th. Next Thursday, the season actually does officially begin. Are we going to get a new CDL rule set drop just before that does go live? I'd imagine we do if Express is going to be in the rotation, right? Because, you know, you're going to bring Express in now, I imagine, for Search and Destroy. You're not going to bring it like 1 week into the home series. You should really bring it in before the entire stage, play the entire stage on the same rule set, and then maybe swap swap out some maps and, well, some things if you want to change some things in the rule sets for stage 2 of the season. That could be argued. But yeah, a lot of questions right now exactly what map is going to be replaced. My guess is it's going to be Garrison, but I haven't really heard too much discussion on this. So maybe the CDL will do some announcements here in the coming days. Also thought this was interesting from Arcitys. I don't usually call anyone out for hacks, but Sir Cellium, you got some explaining to do, some interesting things here that Cellium's doing, taking this gunfight long range, and then for some reason just shooting through the wall right here, even though nobody was there. And yeah, there was also another clip that came out from RJ the Sloth Bear, one of the the head coach, I believe, over at the Atlanta FaZe team. And yeah, Cellium just doing some dodgy things here, looking through some walls. And this kind of shows that, like, Cellium obviously isn't cheating. He's just doing some funky stuff. I think, like, he's looking in the middle here, maybe just so he can see left and right at the same time. But it just kind of looks dodgy when he's doing it. And I think you can certainly, if it wasn't Cellium, right, and if it wasn't any even pre-fires like go for the final kill, if it wasn't Cellium doing this stuff, and, like, you know he's a pro and, you know, nothing dodgy's going on, then you'd probably think this guy's cheating, whoever this guy possibly was, if you took the name tag off, which does create some issues, right, in finding out who exactly is cheating and who's not. Maybe they're just doing some funky stuff here like Cellium, but he's probably not actually cheating, which does make things somewhat difficult to determine at times. Also, this from Ven Esports. Thought this was really cool if you guys hadn't seen this a couple of days ago. Hex has a new show over at Ven Esports, so he's also got that. Obviously, the Eavesdrop podcast is continuing. This is like a super well produced, maybe some would argue overproduced show. But yeah, the first guest was Fwiz, of course, over at YouTube Gaming, legendary Call of Duty Esports commentator for a time, Machinima, MLG, YouTube Gaming, all this type of stuff. Yeah, very interesting episode to listen to, and well, probably all of these he does are going to be very insightful as well. So that's a YouTube video, and of course, we also talked about on Monday, that's tomorrow, there's going to be the Eavesdrop episode with Scraps G. It was Simp's birthday yesterday, so happy 20th birthday to Simp. And just the final thing to say from this, from Slasher, this I believe was the banners at Anaheim 2019. Thought this was so cool. As Slasher says, I mean, this got a lot of likes on Twitter. Walking through this at events was something special. I'm sure if some of you guys went to that event or events like it, where they had these banners of every single winner of every Call of Duty event up until that one, I mean, at least in the near future, well, since the inception of the CWL as it was at the time, this was really cool. This is the type of stuff that Adam Apicella and the MLG guys would put on. Hopefully when we get back to LAN, something similar can happen to this. But yeah, it did make me certainly miss having LAN events. And now, well, I'm sure in due course we will be back there again. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm and know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you all as always, take care, and I will see you next time.